She has approved it, and everything's ready to go unless you have any changes or any questions from last time.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1320-2021.
Second. Motion and second to approve ordinance 1320-2021, approving the negotiated settlement between the Adams City Steering Committee and the Adams Energy Corporation. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We move to item number 6, which is to conduct a public hearing in order to receive citizen comments on the proposed application from Lake Properties to rezone approximately 3.9772 acres of land in the St. Elizabeth subdivision described as being lots 23B, 24B, and 25B, otherwise known as 5910 Black Oak Lane in River Oaks, Tarrant County, Texas, from a CF Community Facilities District to a PDR4 Plan Development District pursuant to Section 11.c Development Regulations and Section 18 Plan Development District of the River Oaks zoning ordinance number 1286-2020 as amended in order to develop property for single-family homes, zoning case number PZ 2021-0008 RZ. With that, the public hearing is open at 7:11. I do want to say, from looking out in the audience, we don't have an overflow crowd, so I'm not going to do a time limit of 3 or 5 minutes or anything like that. I think that just ask that everybody would be aware of everyone else's time, and if it's particularly if something that's already been said, that we try to keep our comments to however minimal we can. I think we're all able to do that without a time limit, so I'll go ahead and we've already opened the public hearing, and we now invite any comments.
We ask staff to get us all on the same page.
Yes, no, I think
This
yes.
is a moving target.
Thank you for that. Yes. Before we start with the comments, we would ask staff and the applicant to present what's before us as well as what's different compared to what has been before us. Thank you.
This was brought before the Planning and Zoning Commission back on July the 26th. It was brought as 40-foot wide lots and with 5-foot side set yards, approximately 2,500 square feet in size. Some of the things that were spoke out in that meeting was the small lots. There was objections to the small lots. They asked to be able to amend what they had submitted back then and bring it forward to the second public hearing with 50-foot wide lots, meeting R4 building regulations, which is also requires the 5-foot side set yards, the 25-foot front building line, which they're setting back about 35 to 40 feet on the plan. And other than that, they moved the house back 5 foot to allow for additional parking behind the street curb. The street and all that remained the same as it was. They do have a PowerPoint tonight that they would like to present, if they may so be permitted to do so at this time.
Sure.
So, Marvin, just to be clear though, the piece one before with the PMP was denied.
It was denied
And
by the
subsequent to the denial, the applicant requested a change, a different request. With the council.
Yes, sir.
And we reviewed, our attorneys reviewed that, and that's in order for there to be a change like that.
That is allowable because they're going to a less restrictive zone.
I don't think so. Heather Phelps, owner of the Lake Properties. We live at 6149 Sundown. Our son attends River Oaks School District. I know we're in Fort Worth, but we always say River Oaks. Yes.
Juan Mancera, also owner of the Lake Properties. I also live at 5149 Sundown. And so we are really thankful for the city's time. I want to start off by saying that. We're working on about 3 different concepts with the city. This is the one that more than likely we're hoping will materialize sooner than the other concepts. One of them involves, you'll see here in a second, it's also residential, and then we're also working on hopefully to bring a professional medical plaza to the city. So the reason I say that is not to boast. I want to be very clear about that. It's not to boast, simply just to tell you guys that we're fully vested, right, into the city. I mean, this is where we drive, this is where we go visit parks. You know, he's in Little League Baseball, and we hit, you know, balls off of McGee Park. I mean, I'm not just some Dallas, not Dallas, but I'm not some Dallas or Frisco or McKinney or, you know, Mansfield, you know, guy or couple coming in trying to, you know, earn $1. Yes, do we want $100? Absolutely, right? So I think that just kind of helps hopefully set everything up about where we're coming from, right? So I'll start. Heather and I will kind of tag team this just a little bit. So here's the old plat, right, that we had discussed. It's the old, I already counted it, right? That's the old plat. So that's the old plat that we discussed. All our numbers, all our data, all our design, our civil, our engineering, everything you could possibly imagine, including meeting with city officials a few times. This is kind of what we arrived at, right? I'm sure you guys have heard the comments. I'm sure that you've had a chance to speak to people, and people talk, which is a good thing. People communicate. So we went back to the drawing board, and this is what we came up with, right? So we've gone from 24 lots to 20 lots. We've gone from 40 feet wide lots to 50 foot wide lots. We've also, I think there's people on the panel that have been in construction, are involved with building and developing, right? Jism, I know that you know a lot about it as well, and Mr. Hook, is that right, Hook?
Yeah, but I've been called.
Okay, I'm fine, okay. And I know you probably don't remember me, but I actually went and knocked on your door a long time ago, and you were very kind with your time.
Doesn't sound like him.
No, he was, because I was actually I was transitioning from dentistry to building, and you got a really good reputation in town, and I had some questions, and you were very kind to kind of help clarify. This, and by the way, unrelated to any of it, so to be really clear, okay? So, it's actually stuff we're doing now in White Settlement, so we're very thankful for that. But anyway, so we're down to 20 lots, okay? And so, here's kind of what I'm gonna do here between this and the next slide is we're going to zoom in. Specifically, it's lot number 14. So we're going to zoom in, and we want to show everyone what it's actually going to look like. Because I think we did a poor job in our previous meeting because we didn't want to do this. We felt this was too formal. And that's why we just showed up and just wanted to talk. But clearly that was a really big mistake on our part. And, you know, we learned our lesson. Yes. So we zoomed in on lot number 14. So here's what we have. We have a 50, this is your typical lot, okay? Obviously around the cul-de-sac it's a little different because the cul-de-sac eats a little bit into that front yard, but I'll get to that in just a little bit. So we zoomed into lot number 14. We've gone from 40 feet wide to 50 feet wide. So starting from the yellow line, okay, that everybody sees going north and south, right? So the very next line is where you start a 5-foot grass space. And in fact, there's a little leader. We call it a leader or an arrow, right? But in architecture, it's a leader. So a leader that shows you it's 5 feet worth of grass. The next 5 feet is going to be a 5-foot sidewalk. You're going to get a 16-foot wide driveway, which is exactly what you want for a two-car garage. We know that the setbacks from back of curb, because that's the way that River Oaks does it, and which is okay. From back of curb, our setback is going to be just like Mr. Gregory said. We're looking at 35-foot to 40-foot setbacks, but we want to show everyone a picture of what it actually looks like. And then we're anticipating backyards.
So the real distance from the sidewalk to the garage is going to be what, 25?
It's going to, from the sidewalk to the garage is going to be 30 to 25, yes. Okay? So, and this one actually, yes, 30 to 45. And then so that will, depend on how you slide the house over, that 30, your rear setback, which is 37 feet, 5 inches, 37, just to call it that, it could be as low as 32 feet for lots, for the lots that are not involved in the cul-de-sac. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody understands that. We do have our typical 5-foot offset, right, from, between the boundary line.